wish that you had a way of knowing which path to take when presented with different choices? Like intuitively knowing which opportunities to say yes to and which ones to stay away from. In this video, I will share some practical tips and tools that you can use to get guidance when feeling stuck in any situation in life. If you are here for the first time, my name is Kiran. I'm an author and I write about mindfulness, emotional resilience and wellness, and the link to my book is in the description below. Now, before I get into the practical tips, I want to spend some time deconstructing what it means to meditate for guidance. Like, I feel for majority of us, whenever we talk about meditation, it's synonymous with someone sitting in an asana or a meditative posture. But if you look up the definition of meditation on Wikipedia, what you will find is this. Wikipedia says that meditation is a practice where an individual uses a technique such as mindfulness or focusing the mind on a particular object, thought, or activity to train attention and awareness and achieve a mentally clear and emotionally calm and stable state. So the main objective of meditation is to get to a clear mental and an emotional state. And there are many paths that lead to that final state. Now, sitting in meditative posture is definitely one of them, but so is journaling or painting or walking in nature and the likes. Now, if you are a beginner to meditation, then I would really ask you to explore different activities and see what helps you the most to get to that clear mental and emotional state. Like, I remember when I was first starting out in meditation, I found it really hard to sit in a meditative posture. And even after spending hours sitting in meditative posture, I could not get my mind and my emotions to calm down. And out of sheer frustration, I remember making a list of things, of activities that I could do to just calm down my mind, because I had such a busy mind and my emotions were all over the place. So I wrote a list of about 3 to 4 activities, and what helped me most at that time was sketching, followed by going for long walks in nature and gardening. So similarly, make a list of activities that work for you, because what works for one person may or may not work for you. And I think as beginners, a lot of time we fall into that trap of thinking, oh, this one technique works for this person and so it has to work for me. It's not like that. Give yourself time and permission to explore different activities and then see what combination of activities work best for you. The other thing that I want to bring your attention to is the word guidance. I think for majority of us, whenever we hear the word guidance or spiritual guidance, in a way we are thinking of a higher self or God or anything which knows much more than we do. So how do we access this higher self and get to the guidance? Now, the thing is that our higher self does not talk to us like our friends would. As in, pick up the phone and say, hey, by the way, that contract that you're thinking about is a very good idea. And that deal that you have just signed may not be such a bad idea. So our higher self doesn't talk to us through words. It talks to us through our feelings. And if you are someone, who doesn't pay heed to their feelings, to their emotions, then you might have to work a little extra hard to really tap into that guidance. Like, I remember when I started meditating, it was really hard to even hear that inner guidance, because like I shared, I had a very active mind, like almost overactive, and then my emotions were all over the place. So even though the inner guidance was always there, but I couldn't hear it. It almost got drowned in that mental chatter. Now, as an example, imagine there are 2 radios that are blasting music, and just for simplicity's sake, let's say one radio is blasting music like so. It is loud, it is quick, and let's call this the radio of mental chatter. Now we have another radio which plays out gentle music such as so. And let's say this radio represents the inner guidance or the intuitive guidance. Now imagine in your day-to-day life, both these radios are playing together like so. And what happens is that even though the inner guidance is always there, but that voice gets drowned in that loud mental chatter. So what you want to do is turn down the volume of that mental chatter so you can actually allow that inner guidance to bubble to the surface. With that, let's talk about a few practical tools and tips that you can use. So as a first suggestion, write down all the activities that reduce the mental chatter for you. Now, it could be cooking or yoga or dancing or playing with your dogs or going out for a run, whatever that is, explore all range of activities. Like a lot of times, when we are beginners and we are just starting out, we tend to explore a very narrow band of activities, and I think that really limits us because you never know what might just resonate with you and what might really help you reduce that mental noise. Like I remember, when I was first starting out in meditation, no matter how many hours I spent sitting in a meditative posture, I found it really hard to calm down my mind and my emotions. And I remember making a list of about 10 to 15 activities that I was remotely interested in, and I would rate each of the activities based on how it made me feel and how much it helped me reduce that mental chatter. So when I did this exercise initially, what I found was that a combination of sketching and going for long walks in nature and sitting in silence and journaling helped me the most. So similarly, play around and find out what is that magical combination that helps reduce that mental chatter for you. Now let's say you got your mind to calm down. Now how do we know whether the guidance you are getting is the real deal or not? Now what I have noticed in my experiences is that when the guidance is spot on, it is usually consistent, as in day after day, week after week, month after month. That intuitive message rarely changes. Like I remember when I was making the decision on whether to leave my job or not, every single time I would quiet down my mind, that inner guidance was always the same. Now it's a different story that I had a lot of fear around this whole situation, but if I could calm down myself and really tap into that guidance, that message, at least for me, remained the same. So one way of gauging that inner guidance is look for consistency in the message. Now, as a side note, I do want to add that, intuition is not like black or white. And you really have to feel into things, and you will make mistakes along the way because this is a new way of communication that most of us are not used to. Like there is always a learning curve in figuring out what works, what doesn't work. So please be super kind and super patient with yourself. And then the other thing is also that, when you get that inner guidance and you start paying attention to it and you start implementing it in your life, it's not that all your problems are going to magically disappear. But what happens is that now you are starting to live a life that is aligned with your highest destiny potential. What is your favorite way to tap into that inner guidance? Share with me in the comments below. I would love to hear from you. Another suggestion, if you're an absolute beginner, is that you can also set intentions when you're just starting out. You can say something on the lines of, God, show me the next steps in ways that I can't miss it. Like when I was starting out, I would say these words all the time, every single day. And in looking back, it did expedite that process of really listening and trusting that inner voice. I hope these few suggestions were helpful. As always, please only take what resonates, discard the rest. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, share with your friends, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.